The truth. Hello everybody! It is Easter evening. This is a beautiful and gorgeous day. I hope everybody had like an absolutely awesome Easter Sunday. So I'm still in my living room. My cat's chilling. I've got my little jellyfish light. So here's a jellyfish light. It has been quite a while. I have been so busy with getting through this season of work, and I'm really realizing that it's a season that I'm in, and that until I'm a regular mailman, meaning I'm not required to work overtime hours, then I'll have so much more time, less money, but just that's okay. I have more time to be able to do this. So that is coming up soon. I'm so excited about that because I can really focus more on things. And so I wanted to make this video about everyday simple mindfulness practices and just basically habits to get into, books to read, accounts to follow on your social media, kind of like how to reshape and revamp and realign the things that are in your life that you expose yourself to every day that are beneficial, that are healing and soothing, and that are just absolutely something that is going to build you up instead of just do nothing for you. Instead of tear you down, because it's just so easy to like not even realize that you're actually looking into things, exposing yourself to things that do nothing for you. It's a necessary step in recovery, I really think, and it's something that a lot of people have the capability of doing but just haven't done that. So the point of this video is to kind of give you guys some tips that I have found that really personally help me all the time, even when I'm not in the best mood, even when I'm experiencing symptoms. Easy to fall back into your old ways. It's easy to like forget about the truth that has been set before you. Some of the things that I do on a daily basis, I'm gonna start out with things that are simpler, things that are kind of applied to every person in 2019. When we're going through pure OCD and when we're going through this mental illness, especially with the way the world is and how many problems there are with society, with money, with poverty and homelessness, and so many incredibly overwhelming problems. You know what? It's not a surprise, right, that we're going through this disorder. We can't expect ourselves to go through life without a hitch, without anything ever happening to us. We have to be prepared for that. And since we already are at this point with a mental illness, and that is not nearly as bad as you think it is so much more healable, fixable, and we can rise right above it so much more easily than we think we can. This damn phone is never gonna stop dropping. But to do that, to get to that point where you feel empowered and you feel ready to stomp your foot down, that spear of truth that is in us all, this rod of confidence, we have the ability to think and find out and realize what is stopping us. What is in our way? What is this mountain, this veil, this illusion, this rock that is in front of us, this mountain that we have to move? What in the heck is it, and why is it there? It's because we have the power of free will. Everyone would agree, right? We have the power to choose life or death. We have the power to choose to move on or to sit and mope around and to have that self-pity. So the first of all, I want to start out with that high level sense of we can choose better. We have to choose to rise up. We have to choose life. We have to choose to push through this difficult season that we're in of mental illness or whatever it is that you're dealing with. Whether that's somatic OCD, pure OCD, anxiety, depression, all of it, we can choose to push through. We can choose to seek help, to improve and to be better. So anytime you are having a dialect in your day, anytime you notice yourself siding with basically just not work with you, that it just doesn't work, the lies, the sense of despair, that sense of just hopelessness, you know, and we really do. We have that voice of deception in us. We have the voice of truth. And so anytime you catch yourself siding with that, giving the benefit of the doubt to that realm, we have to just close it out. We can choose to shut that out. and to lock that door and to reopen one, or to open a brand new door of pure light, of love, that is simply our choice to feed into. And so to do that though, we have to have the tools. We have to have that surrounding us day by day. So first of all, I want to say how important it is to limit your time on social media, and to limit who you follow, and to really curtail who you follow on social media and how much time you're spending looking at other people's lives and comparing yourself to others, especially through this disorder, because sometimes it's easy to have something irrelevant affect your OCD, or to affect your progress and recovery and remission and reaching habituation, ERP. All of the things that I have stated in my other videos are difficult to achieve when there are forces working against us day by day that simply we might think are irrelevant, we might think are not affecting us, but indeed are. And so what I like to do is to unfollow the influencers and the models and all these people that simply don't have anything good for us at all. Like, it's just ridiculous, you know? Like, people that we just look at, it's like, oh wow, they look even better than they did yesterday. Man, they have another nice item that I don't have. Wow, they're going on another trip that I'm not going on. Wow, they achieved this and I never even did anywhere near that. So this is the thing, throw that out the window. Whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're doing and seeing that's causing you to compare yourself to others, just throw that out the window. And instead, follow people like Morgan Harper Nichols. Morgan Harper Nichols. She makes art and writes words of daily practice of generosity and of absolutely just self-loving, compassionate, like truly uplifting quotes that are neutral and amazing, and just she is really somebody that I would recommend to follow. There are just so many different accounts to follow out there, and that I totally would recommend her, and you can buy her artwork as well. Let's see somebody else that I can recommend. And I'm gonna be looking at my phone because we have to remember that this is where we spend a good chunk of our day. Whatever we're getting from our phone and whatever we're feeding ourselves, you know, is something that does stay within us. And same goes with our Netflix series and what we're watching and what we're putting into our mind and our hearts from the media that we are streaming into literally our life. And so that is another thing to be very careful about. So another set of accounts that I would recommend following, they absolutely are totally helpful when it comes to anything that you're going through in your day. And this is why I'm beginning to be more open about my faith, is that there is nothing more that I can come up with. There is no other advice. There's no other entity or source of wisdom that surpasses the wisdom of God. So that being said, I would recommend following Elevation Church and also Transformation Church, and also Hillsong. And Stephen Furtick, or Stephen F, I can't pronounce his last name. He is incredible. The motivation he gives me every day to get going and just to jumpstart my day with hope and with faith and just so much light, to look down at all these things that are trying to pull us downward and to say, no, you are far under my feet and I am walking above you now. And I just recommend these accounts. Absolutely look into that. And even if you don't agree with everything, just consider the things that you can pull from it that are going to help you day by day, and that you are loved, man. It's all about love. It's not about religion. That's the thing, is throw religion out the window and bring spirituality into your heart. Bring love into your heart. It's not, religion is a man-made thing, and I do not promote religion. I promote spirituality. I promote love. When it comes to our social media and our just media in general, I really truly think that having yourself encompassed with things that are truly going to help you and not cause you to stumble and to think, okay, this is tripping me out. Like, you know, avoid those triggers. And it's okay to realize that we have triggers. It's okay to realize that we have compulsions. We have rituals that we actually perform throughout the day that we don't even realize that we're doing, that can be kind of trapping us in this cycle of OCD, that can be trapping us in the over ruminating, over analyzing, overthinking, and just anxiety-ridden day that we do not want, and we all know how that goes. And so it's so important to realize what is helping us, what's not helping us, because you can be tricked, you can be deceived, and if you don't think that you can be deceived by these things you're exposing yourself to every day, how much time you're spending on Facebook is another thing to avoid somewhat, you are deceived yourself then. So you have to realize that you have to accept. Acceptance is huge. That there are powers that work against us in the world, that there are powers that work for us, and that we have the choice to choose between the two. So I know that you're going to make the right decision, and I know that I have, and so that is why I have to share what those are. So just watch yourself, your behavior, observe yourself, how you go throughout the day, what triggers cause you to spiral downward or to rise up. What is it that you're thinking that you can hang on to that you have to let go? It's just so easy to like think, okay, this is fine, but really it's not fine. And another thing I really watch is my time on scrolling through my Facebook feed. It is proven psychologically that too much time on Facebook can increase feelings of depression, can increase feelings of apathy, hopelessness, and anxiety and jealousness. So we have to realize that, okay, seeing what people are doing in their life is good once in a while. Being aware of events, being aware of trends, yeah, sure, that's great and all. But it's not necessary every day to spend all day scrolling and looking, oh, one notification, I have to look at that right now. I can't wait. I can't let my notifications wait, not even for 1 minute. Avoid doing that, because it will cause you to spend less time on yourself, to love yourself less, and to spend more time looking at what other people are doing, and you ultimately love yourself less. You just don't do what you need to do for yourself when you spend that money. So now I want to point out some really important articles that I've been sending to people and helping them with. Like when I'm helping them, I send them these articles, and so I want to post them on this video. These articles are really good. The first one I want to go over is by New Harbinger Publications. It's called Somatic OCD and Reclaiming Mindfulness. This is huge, and I realize this is kind of a point that I've been missing in my videos, is that somatic OCD, hyperbody awareness, same thing, etc., is a form of mindfulness that's gone awry, that's gone rogue, right? It is mindfulness that is not working with us, it's working against us. It's just not in the right energy, it's not in the right sync, it's just gone out of sync. So this article is super helpful. I'm gonna put all the links to these articles in the video. It is talking about how this mindfulness window that we discover in the wrong way is how we begin the cycle of somatic OCD. We're viewing this window of mindfulness completely the wrong way. We are taking it as a foreign, bad, something's wrong with us vibe. Like, oh no, like this is bad. I shouldn't be able to look at my breathing. What's wrong with me? I shouldn't be able to focus on my blinking or my swallowing or whatever it is that you're going through. And so it's so important to read this article is so helpful. It helps you understand mindfulness is something that we can't get rid of. It's something that we have to accept, and we have to reclaim it. And it's ERP ties into this very well. And it's simply how to view this mindfulness window, how to take the act of meditation that we actually are doing in a very wrong way, that we don't even realize that we're doing, and how to take that act and use it in a healthy way. Such as, when you hear people who say, oh, I love to meditate, I love to focus on my breathing, I love to focus on myself when I meditate, and just to view in harmony the functions and the systems and the idiosyncrasies of my body. Why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? Well, I'll tell you why. Is because we start to associate fear and irrationality that is very normal to have as a human being with these awarenesses, because it's so important to realize that this mindfulness, we can reclaim it, and we have to realize that we can view our breathing and we can watch these things occur in our body with love, with acceptance, and with total understanding without causing it to go bad. And now it leads me into this next article it's by medium.com. It's about, here's why you are not your thoughts. I love this. And this is a whole other can of worms that I would encourage you guys to kind of look into. And side note, education is just everything, man. Education, reading, and reconfiguring your life. God has so many amazing provisions for us, and he wants us to get in on that. And so before we do that, we can re-provision our life now, what we have, what we look into, and what we spend our time on. And so it's so important when you're suffering and when you're going through something like this to provision yourself to the truth, to like look into these psychological things that are so important to realize. That we have to realize though that our consciousness comes from a separate point. Our awareness is not our thoughts. Our thoughts are simply being transmitted to us. So basically, like, we're like a radio receptor and we're being transmitted these thoughts, and they are a tool for us to formulate ideas and to do things, but we are not the thoughts themselves. And so I'll kind of explain what this article says. Rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. That is simply true. When we believe our thoughts instead of what is truly true for us, we experience the kind of emotional distress that we call suffering. Suffering is a natural alarm, warning us that we're attached to a thought. When we don't listen, we come to accept this suffering as an inevitable part of life, but it's not. It comes to no surprise that thoughts are likely to change as you mature. And this is really where mindfulness comes into such a big player in this. Mindfulness is a useful tool when we experience runaway thoughts. Our aim is to allow them to enter our awareness and notice them instead of becoming invested on them. Because that is the truth, is there is no reason we have to invest ourselves on these thoughts. And these quotes are by, let's see, the author and teacher Brian Cady wrote in Loving What Is. So these are all, that's a book, I suppose, that's on here. That's cool. Thoughts occur through you. So we have to realize that thoughts occur through us, like a radio transmitter transmitting a frequency signal. You are not the signal, but the receiver of that signal. So it's just mind-blowing, right? It's just absolutely trippy, like what can come of learning that we, it kind of turns what we thought upside down about who we are, about like, okay, our thoughts aren't really us, well then what are they? There's so much more research that can be done, and I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to dive in and do these readings for yourself. I encourage you to like just go for it and just to educate yourself on all of these concepts. It's really going to help you in your mental health journey, even if you still experience the OCD. And then the last article I want to talk about is very detailed and very specific about OCD in general, about somatic OCD. It's by OCD Baltimore, about navigating hyper-awareness obsessions, and it's really, really amazing. And so I love this section on this article that talks about what are we actually afraid of? You know what? I'm just putting that in there. So what are we really afraid of when we're going through this disorder? So what are we really afraid of? And it's important to just to pin these down and to realize that, put yourself on the other side of them and to not sit in them, but to view them far away from you, like they're just this, like they are a petty, false worry that does not have to control us, that we do not have to choose. We do not have to choose these worries. Worries such as I'll permanently be distracted by these thoughts. I will never feel what it feels like to experience these things automatically again without consciousness of them. I will be depressed forever about these thoughts, and they'll dominate my attention, meaningful experiences, and will ruin all of my other experiences. I will embarrass myself socially because I can't pay attention to anything else. I will have a mental breakdown. This is all a seemingly valid concern, but they aren't. They're not valid. These are the OCD, the irrationality, our fight or flight response systems. These things do not change in us. They are there. There are lesser, underdeveloped parts of ourself, but we have to realize that there are more highly developed parts of our being and lesser developed parts of our being, that when those two things clash, problems can happen. And when we give our energy and our mind to the lesser parts of ourselves that we don't always realize we're doing, we probably don't at all realize we're doing, that is when these disorders can take hold of us. Say it again. It's those lesser parts of ourselves, our fight or flight response. Educate yourself on that. Look into these parts of your body that are very powerful. But And then realize too that there's those higher parts of yourself that are connected to a higher frequency that are just as powerful, if not more powerful. And we gotta think every day, what are we choosing? Am I choosing that, or am I choosing the better? This article kind of lists out more compulsions than you'd think, this section. It's about basically explaining the things that you're probably doing that you don't even realize you're doing that are keeping the OCD in control of you. Mental checking to see if the awareness is still present. Mental or physical checking to see if sensation feels normal again. Repeating the activities a specific number of times in a ritualistic way to give oneself permission to stop thinking about them. Relying heavily on distraction to avoid the thoughts. Reassurance seeking that the awareness will go away, or that it's normal to have from others, which is something I realize that I've got to stop doing, because I don't want to be reinforcing anything in you guys too, which is just all for your better good. And that last one though, about affirmations, that's something that is very kind of in a gray area. So something that I love to do every day is to have those affirmations and to really truly affirm yourself in the truth and to lift yourself back up and to move forth. So I would just like to make a little discrepancy there between what they just said and what I'm saying, is that they're not saying to never affirm yourself and to never have any of those affirmations and to never like pump yourself up and to keep yourself going. They're saying to not use those affirmations as a distraction or as a constant like triggered mental reaction. So it's different. There's a difference between being like, today is an amazing day, I know my truth and I am moving onward, and just waking up with these affirmations and kind of going, having it be part of your day, whereas you compulsively think them on the spot after a symptom arises or in response to a symptom. That is important to watch the difference between those two, because there is a discrepancy there to get down. And I know that it's so annoying, right? There's so many little discrepancies. And that is something though to just jot down and to just really watch. And I would really encourage you guys as well to journal and look into some of these things that you're doing. And if you're confused, write down what isn't working for you, write down what is working for you. Make note and notice your patterns. Notice what you uniquely to yourself do and what works for you and what doesn't, because some of these things could work for others and some of them couldn't. We have to accept that we are super unique people. We are all completely unique. That is how God made us. Nobody is the same. So it's important to note that some of these things might work for others and vice versa. Okay, so the next thing I want to get into is some books that I really love. Not only is it reading a really good temporary relief from our intrusive thoughts, but also it's extremely educating and it's extremely eye-opening, uplifting, paradigm shifting. So other than the Holy Bible, which I'm going to get into and quote with you guys and show you some of my favorite Bible verses and show you some of the most life-changing, soul-healing, mind-transforming, inwardly embracing, just unbelievable quotes from the Bible that you could ever read. So those I will get to in the next video. Whee! So now, bugs. So this one I love. It's by Max Lucado. It's called Anxious for Nothing. It kind of helps you get into spirituality. It helps you realize that Christ is incredibly for us. He is everything and more that we need, and that there is nothing he wants bad for you. There is literally not one bad moment in him. There is no darkness, there is no lies, there is no deceit, no evil. And this book will just help you realize that your anxiousness and your anxieties can be solved in him, are solved in him, and will be forever. And this book is so important. And this quote I love is, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication and thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding," this is huge, "will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." And it's just an amazing, amazing book. And so I recommend this one, Finding Calm in a Chaotic World and also a Chaotic Mind. Now this book I love as well. This is by the Dalai Lama. Extremely calming, called Peace is Every Step. It's subtle and extremely effective. So now this one as well I love, by Dr. David Jeremiah. It's called Overcomer, and it's about 8 ways to live a life of unstoppable strength, unmovable faith, and unbelievable power. And this is such an amazing book. Overcoming tribulation. It's about overcoming hardships and essentially overcoming whatever we're dealing with in God, and how we can truly become so much more powerful than we are now, and to triumph over every lie, every challenge, every adversity, and to find resiliency in doing good through it, and doing good for ourselves, for others, all goodness in the world, and that is God. And it's just amazing to me that this book is even in existence. And so my other book that I'm going to recommend right now that I have physically is by Martin Meadows. It's Daily Self-Discipline. So this is a really good book. It's high level, it's simple, everyday habits and exercises to build self-discipline and achieve your goals. And this is needed. Self-discipline is so important through going through OCD and learning and challenging yourself to truly start ERP, to face these fears and to pull yourself out of the cycle that you've been going through for years or months or whatever whatever time frame that is for you. And a couple other ones I want to mention right now as well. I'll put the link to it. I don't have these books, but I really love these. So this one is called The Self-Compassion Deck, 50 Mindfulness-Based Practices. So this book is meant to increase meaningful exercises and kind-heartedness, and gain a deeper appreciation for yourself and your life, improve well-being, regulate emotions, reduce depression and anxiety. And then my last recommendation for this video is going to be Reclaiming Your Best Self by Dr. Chastity K. Adams, The 4 Disciplines of Mindful Acceptance. And this is huge. I love this book. And it's about reclaiming mindfulness. It's just more on that. And it's about also just using mindfulness to accept challenges in your life, disappointments and hardships, and realizing that they're going to come. We have to be prepared for them. We have to realize that we're not going to live a perfect, protected life for your whole life. Like this living in your bubble, you have to be prepared that it's going to be burst eventually for whatever amount of time. And so it's so important to realize that before we can even accept God, before we can even do any of these things, we have to get those prerequisites down of mindful acceptance. And that is going to help you not only accept God and accept these truths, but it's going to help you just before all that, it will help you just to accept that you are going through something, you are going through a problem, that you are not perfect, but you are not screwed. You're not done for. You're not weak. You're not small. You're not meaningless. You're not hopeless. You're not controlled by something else. You are in control. Your free will is not gone. You're not being taken over by anything else other than yourself. And we have to realize that we are a being that has the power to improve ourselves or to destroy ourselves. And we have to mindfully accept that and choose life. I know that you're going to choose life. You're going to choose good things. And I absolutely encourage you to just take that first step of opening your heart. So important to get to. And that we can't when we're listening to the ways of the world, that clearly are falling and collapsing in on itself. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm only doing this for your guys' benefit, absolutely. And I know that I have to share the joy in me, and I have to let you guys know where my hope comes from and why I'm doing so well, because it's not in vain. It's not for my glory. It's not for just making myself look, wow, look at my perfect life and everything that I've worked for and I'm just gonna share with you guys now to glorify myself. Absolutely not. I want you guys to be experiencing the same joy. I hope this little pep talk, this video helped. I know I'm kind of long-winded and a little unorganized in my videos, but I'm always working on to improve and to truly just give you guys more tools to help yourself and to truly be able to walk every day with confidence in the fact that life is meant to be lived gloriously, beautifully, happy, purpose-filled, giving, and just doing acts of light and good. That's all life is about, and there is so much more than that even to discover that's yet to be revealed. And so I just hope that you guys can take this with an open mind and open heart and to realize that I really am just doing it for you. And so I hope that this helps. You know, my goal is to be able to create a video every other week that's about a subject with OCD, and also at least like a couple times or once every couple of months to release like a bigger project, a video that is totally artsy, because I love art. And that's really my focus right now, is to come up with a better schedule, a better routine of posting and replying. And so also, guys, let me know if there is a comment that you want me to reply to sooner than later, because I'm trying to get through to all the comments and all of my messages, but it's been a struggle. I've been kind of failing at that a little bit. I'll admit that is currently something I'm working on, and that I'm always looking to improve. And so if I ever am not replying soon enough for you, just message me again. Say, hey, Murtica, hey, Michael, like, this is something I would love to have help with sooner than later now, because sometimes I kind of forget about them, but I absolutely don't forget about them for long, like too long. So if it's at most, it will be like a month, but that's still too long for me. So I want to make it a couple weeks at the latest, and really, I will always come through for you guys, just like God will. He'll be a lot more reliable than me, but I am still always going to reply in some way, shape, or form eventually. So yeah, just harass me, I guess, if you guys need sooner help. But anyways, I will always give you guys my 10 cents or whatever it is. So yeah, I hope this video helps you have daily, supplemental, anecdotal, like just smaller things that you can carry along with you and do in the long run that are gonna just help you. I know it. So just focus on that social media, just focus on revamping who you follow, and just reconfiguring what you're exposed to every day, and it's really gonna help you, I know it. So hope you guys have a great night.